I put my faith in you. They turn their backs on you. Man, I'm never going back. Man, I'm never going back. I put my faith in you. They turn their backs on you.
What's up? What's up? I am Rebel Ray, your hostess with the mostest, and this is
Art Collins.
Let's go. Art Collins just turned 40 last 2 weeks ago, June 16th, special date of the year, and he's back with us. And I can't say enough how much I miss my co-host.
Likewise, man. You know, I couldn't wait to get back.
Man, because it's hard talking to yourself and laughing at your own jokes. And it's hot, and the studio lights beaming on your big old forehead.
Sweat dripping, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
You were.
So
I did miss you, sir. Hard.
Likewise, you know. By the way, you guys, I had an announcement to make.
Okay.
I ate a worm, okay? I just want y'all to know that. All right? I ate a worm, a real worm.
He is not going to just allow that to just go somewhere.
I did it. So, hey, listen, I did it. You know what I mean? It's like I got my degree. You know what I mean? It's good.
Oh, my goodness. So, we have a very juicy topic. I don't know if it's juicy, controversial, but it's not a nice topic that most of our family members, and I'm not going to just say the Black family unit because I know different races who have had this happen to them, and I feel all men kind of feel the same way.
Yes.
So what's our topic?
So the topic is based on the fact of a father after 4 years who found out that the child that he had thought all that time was his was not.
Wow, shaka mama.
How trifling is that? Like,
I mean, okay, listen. To come to the defense. Listen, I want to hear all sides, okay? Because how did we know this mom wasn't looking for stability and saw it in this guest? And she knew, like, her real baby daddy wasn't happening anyway to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'm just going to say this, and this is just my opinion. I feel like if you are unsure of who the father is, you need to find out in the beginning so that you're not leading on this man because emotions and everything get tired.
Who got $3,200 to get a DNA test in vitro?
Look. Mama's baby, father's maybe. Look, if the father wants to find out if it's his baby or not.
Wow,
look,
we don't have this type of segment tonight.
Let the father know so he can decide whether or not he wants to take a test. Right? This woman made him believe he was the father. There was no others. None of that.
That's probably a little different. But if she would have said in the beginning, right, that there may be others. Boom, boom, boom. Like, every woman does not want to admit that for whatever stereotypical reasons. However, I don't know. It's kind of close to home. Yeah. So we're going to actually bring the guest on and hear from his
because
perspective.
I got a lot that I want to say with this because that's this is very interesting. So we're gonna bring him on. How you doing, sir?
Hello.
I got your mic muted. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So why don't you start off by like kind of giving us a little background of what took place, and then
Gotcha.
man is gonna.
And I don't have any tea.
Right. But
y'all with no honey or milk, because I want to hear this part. Wow.
You know, every great story starts off once upon a time. So, once upon a time, I turned 30 years old, and when I turned 30 years old, I got a call from the girl that I was talking to, well, the woman I was talking to at the time. She lets me know some information. She's like, "Look, we need to talk." Soon as I hear that we need to talk, automatically I knew something was wrong. So I'm like, when a guy hears that we need to talk, usually that means that it's something serious, or it's a situation, regardless. So she was like, "Can you drive down to meet me?" So I'm like, "Sure," so me and my ride, we go down there. I get down there, we're sitting down and talking. She was just like, "I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to say this, any other way." She was just like, "But I think I'm pregnant." So I'm excited. I'm just like, "Okay, well, we having a baby." I'm like, we having a baby. All right, you pregnant? I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll be there for the child." And she was like, "No." She was just like, "I just don't know if it's between you or this other guy." So I'm like, "Whoa, hold up." So
Okay. Now keep going, because
so pretty much she admits to me that she cheated. She admits that she cheated, and when she cheated, she got
so was that
pregnant
in
the
the
first
beginning?
time. This happened in the beginning. This is like before, like she even had the child.
I was misconstrued with that.
She reaches out to the other guy or whatever. I'm like, "You're gonna have to reach out to him because there's possibilities that he might be the father." So she reaches out to him or whatever. He didn't want nothing to do with the situation. He was just like, "Look, I don't want nothing to do with it. I got kids of my own right now. So look, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't got time for this." So I was like, "Look, I'm like, if he's not stepping up to the plate, I'm gonna step up to the plate because there's possibilities that she might be mine, like the child might be mine." So I stepped up to the plate. So by the time it was nine, like good 5, 6 months later, she goes through the pregnancy and everything. Everything's good. Dude's pretty much nowhere in the picture because he didn't want nothing to do with the child. So I'm like, this baby's gonna grow there with no father if somebody doesn't step up to the plate. So I was just like, she was like, "You sure?" And I was just like, "Yo," I'm like, "You did a lot for me." I was like, "Look, you've been there for me. I'll at least be there for this child."
Well, how loyal, and for you to be so young and actually make that commitment to her and that feeling, like that's like saying a lot about yourself, right, disciple?
Exactly.
But we're continue to on with the story, because I'm trying to figure out what possessed your mind after she told you point blank.
Well, that changes everything right there.
Right.
She told you point blank that
there was a possibility.
It was a possibility.
She told you point blank.
She didn't lie. She didn't lie. She didn't try to take advantage of the situation. So did she make you believe, or the baby believe, that y'all was real biological?
She pretty much made me like with the like deception that the child was pretty much mine. She was like, at first she was just like, look, she was just like, but when she had the child, pretty much when the baby came out, I cut them biblical cord. I was there for everything. I seen the child, and it looked like me. Like she looked like me. Like just when I was younger and everything.
Now let me ask you this: was this something that you thought, or was this something that she emphasized, or was this something that you attached yourself to?
Because you wanted to be accepted in that role. Because I'm about to go therapeutic on you.
I feel like I attached myself to it because I could have got DNA, off the break, but I made that choice to be there for that child, because I knew that child wasn't going to have a father, and I was like, the possibility it could be mine, so I stepped up to the plate.
Which most people do, and I want to break this down because I want to rush through your story. It's a very important story. But most people who find themselves in this position, it could be men or female, right?
Right.
They attach themselves and they want what we call this ideal family unit.
Right.
I want the baby. I want the dog. I want the
Right.
wifey in the kitchen. She's cooking me. I want cooking something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want this idea, and a lot of
Right.
times it's not fundamental to actually just sit with truth and
Right.
say, "This is where it's at. This is not going to work." You know, because I'm attached because I've attached myself by this life force,
Right.
right? So she had already gave you signs that she was cheating and she was
Mhm.
willing to have another man's baby. That's
Right.
number one. Number
Right.
two is like disciple. Were you able to logically, which we don't, are you able to
Mhm.
logically think things through without feeling heart led? Because when you're a heart led person, you find
Right.
yourself in these positions.
Right. 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 See,
Now,
I feel like I let my heart lead me on that situation. You know what I mean? I definitely did. So like when she pretty much, let me go like a little bit more into detail. Like when she
okay.
had a baby, you know, the first year as Michaela, you know, the daughter, like my daughter's name was Michaela or whatever. But she made it seem like to my family that the baby was mine. Like when we looked at the child and everything, like I guess people can see like through their own perception of what they think, you know, something is, and somebody might see it a little differently. Like say like if you think he looks similar to him, you know what I mean, or whatever, I might not see the same thing. But pretty much that was the case in that. My mother seen the same thing that I said. She was like, "Yo, she's got my birthmark," which was crazy. She had the same birthmark as my mother's. You know, I raised this
Wow.
child
Really?
all the way to the age of 4, yo.
That's scary.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this particular birthmark, where is it?
it was on her leg.
Okay. But do you think that's like a common birthmark or
It
something?
could have
Like,
been. It could have been.
I
It
just
could have
feel
been
like you
something
were
common.
so blinded. Poor thing.
So,
I was.
so where do you feel the deception came in with her?
The
What?
deception came in. She came in and deceived my whole family because I think that she knew that she didn't have nobody at all because the other guy wasn't going to be there, step up to the plate. So she pretty much deceived me into pretty much fathering this child, you know, to pretty much have a father like figure there, you know. And then
But why
when
is
she was,
that negative?
say it again.
Why is that negative for a woman to want that and just walk in that role because you're willing to be the role? So why can't we just
I
walk there?
mean, it was like more 50-50, it was a more of a 50-50 thing because I really wanted that baby to be mine. You know, like I seen that child as my own. I pretty much raised her, taught her how to walk and everything. You know, like
So
if
let
she
me ask,
needed anything.
so let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to take anything from your story because
Right,
this was a 4 year ordeal that you went through. Um,
right.
feeling like this was your child. Now, were you guys in a relationship during this time, or did
We were
you? Well,
actually in a relationship. We were in a relationship at the time.
okay, so finish telling the story because I know there was a court battle, a court case involved in
Yeah,
this, where when you actually found out that you were not the father, and there was another individual present there with her.
right. That was
Why don't you speak on that?
pretty much when he came around the picture, that was towards the end of our relationship or whatever. Then he comes around the picture, DNA. I'm pretty much. He's just like, look, I really don't think you're the father. Then our relationship was pretty much split at the time. This was by the age of 4. When she turned 4 years old, me and her we got into like a slight argument, and she was like, look, I really don't think that you're the dad. I was just like, look, I fathered that girl since the age of 1 years old. Like I've been there from the beginning. I'm like, she looks just like me. I'm like, that's my baby. I'm like, you can't take my child away from me. She was just like, well, look, she started talking to the guy that there was a possibility of him being the father. So pretty much it turned into a whole court case. She ran and started staying with him. So I went and got them served. So for the DNA test, for we can get that on
Oh,
board.
so you did that.
Yeah, I did that.
So
Hmm.
So again, disciple, you put yourself where you were hurt and vulnerable. It sounds
Yeah,
like
very,
you know,
very.
you know. I'm looking at the situation because she really didn't pick you. She picked an opportunity for stability,
Right.
but
Right.
her heart wasn't with you. It was always originally with the other man, and that's why
Right.
it was so easy for her to slide over there and say,
Right.
"Oh, it really is his baby," because she knew.
Well, to his defense,
Right.
I'll say she did stay around for some years in the
Yes.
relationship with him.
Why did
And-
she do that? That's what y'all not missing.
No, I get it.
She did it for
I get,
stability.
I get she did it for stability. You know what I mean? But we can't take the fact away that she entertained him for that long. You see what I'm saying? She entertained him for some years.
But women will do that, and I'm just speaking.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Women will do that. That's why you men need to see the game for what it is. And one of E40's old songs I like him as an artist. You know, he has a background in church, but he be speaking that truth. And one of the oldest was Captain Save a Home, man. And just put me a hook on. A lot of times, y'all laughing at me. Come on now. Come on now. A lot of times we get ourselves into positions. I'm not trying to be funny, you know.
Yeah. I understand.
Because I know somebody very close who did the same thing. I know her like the back of my hand. And when I tell you, women were staying in a half relationship for stability of their children until they get their strategy together.
I agree.
I know I look crazy talking to you and saying that from that point, but I'm saying it true.
That happened to me.
It is very true.
Yeah.
So what happened when you went to court?
What happened when I went to court? It got ugly. Like soon as dude even spoke out, I was just like, dude, like who even gave you like permission to speak? I was just like, look, I raised your child for 4 years. I was just like, because DNA came back. When the DNA came back, they read it, and they was just like, you know, you're not the father. So I pleaded with them. I was just like, look, I was just like, this is all I gotta say is, I raised that daughter, dude. I'm the only man that she knows. I'm the only man she knows. I'm like, I'm asking you out of respect right now. I'm like, Nicole, and I'm asking you out of respect right now. I was just like, look, I was just like, is there any way that I can reach out to her on a birthday or say hi or anything, you know? And she was just like, Your Honor, we don't really want to confuse her any more than she already is, you know? So we're asking that you get a restraining order against Mr. Harris, you know?
No.
So they were like, we don't.
Oh, that is horrible.
So pretty much, you know what I mean? They pretty much banned me out of her life. And I was just like, look, please. I was just like, if you can just let me get the chance to at least say hi to her, but she can see my face. Like, you know, I'm like, because I'm the only man she knows. And they're like, we don't want to confuse her anymore. So, you know, they
have that. She always going to feel that abandonment from you.
Yeah, exactly.
She finds you old as she gets older, so she can have that closure. Because children remember.
But no. So you mentioned that you seen her or something like that, and she didn't.
No, I got to speak to her. I got to speak to her. Yeah, I got to speak to her. This was like a year and a half ago. And her babysitter, you know, it's you know, when her mother drops her off at the babysitter or whatever. I was friends with her babysitter, you know, whatever. Like me and the lady knew each other, and she was just like, she calls me one day, and I get a phone call while I'm at work, and I'm like, who is this? And she was just like, yeah, it's me. And she was just like, look, she was like, I got somebody here that wants to speak to you. And she was just like, because I really don't feel that it's right that you never got the closure that you needed. She was like, and I feel this whole situation was taken wrongly, and she should have never did you like that. She was like, but I have Michaela over here. And I broke down in tears, bro. I broke down in tears. I'm just like, get out of here. Like, because this hurt my mother. This hurt my father. Like, everybody was broken because of this situation. Like, we had it, like, I had to go through counseling and everything. Like, my head was messed up. Like, when I say we got messed up, because I allowed myself to put my heart in the front seat, you know. Boy. So what ended up happening is I spoke to her, and I'm like, hey, I was like, listen, mama, do you remember me? And she was like, kind of. She was like, I was like, do you remember who I am? And she was like, a little bit. And I was just like, well, look, let me send you some pictures. So I sent her pictures from when I first taught her how to walk. I sent her pictures from me and her walking with her, me holding her, off multiple trips. She's like, "That's me," and I'm like, "Yeah, baby, that's you." I was just like, "See, I'll always be your guardian angel," and I was like, and I just let you know that I'll always be there watching over you. I'm like, I was there from the beginning, and I was your dad at, I was there from the beginning, but things happen, and I hope you can understand this one day. I was like, but just know that I'm your guardian angel. She's like, "You're my guardian angel." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always going to be looking over you. Always. Always from the outside looking in."
All
And
right, so
it was like that was as much closure as I got, but I took that as peace from there,
yeah,
but it still hurt,
these kind of situations happen all the time.
Yeah.
I just want to rewind a little bit because now that we have the full story in clarity, we can kind of.
That was my cue for Rachel. Stop talking over the guest.
Yeah.
I know my bro. Anyway,
So
I
now,
just get excited with all the. Yeah, go ahead.
all right, so now that we have full clarity of it, so
Right.
I can say that she was right and she was wrong at the same time, right?
Right.
So where she was not wrong was in the beginning, she told you that there was a possibility that
Right.
another person was the father. And we can all respect that because if she had enough, respect for you to tell you, look, I messed around because she cheated, right?
Right.
She cheated. She said, I messed around. She had enough respect to tell you. I mean, even though it wasn't respectable that she cheated, we're not going to take that away. But,
wow, chicken, no, wow.
But she had enough respect to tell you, hey, there's a possibility that somebody else could be the father inside of you and somebody else, which puts you in a situation where and then she said, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm letting you know I'm pregnant. You could be the father, or this person could be the father.
Right.
Now, I will say this, where I feel, and I feel like in a sense, you allow your heart to turn you into a victim.
Yep.
And the reason why I'm saying this, right?
Yep.
The reason why I say I feel like you allowed your heart to turn you into a victim, and not because you were wrong. It takes a real man to want to raise a child. It takes a real man to want to be there for a child. Believe me, I know. So look, but you allowed your heart for the situation, to skip out the fact that there could have been another father, to skip out the fact that, hey, one day this may come back and haunt me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I love this. You put so much love into the fact that, hey, she's pregnant. This could be my child. That you turned it into the child, even to the point where you saw that the child even looked like you. And the crazy part is, I've even seen children that have had DNA tests look more like the other person than the other person.
Yep.
As crazy as it sounds. As crazy as it sounds. So
this is
so you pretty much, when this child was born, you and I remember you said you even cut the umbilical cord. Am I right?
Yep, I did, bro.
Oh, see that right there that's a very
I'm
intimate.
sad for you. I'm sad for you, but as my brother, I'm empathetic and I'm sensitive, but boy, if I was in the same city, I would have got a hold of you and let you know what's good. You feel me? Sometimes you need like a firm shaking, like wake up, this is what's going on. Make sure you handle business in the beginning. You could have got the paternity test right after. Just in the beginning, it would have helped with so much less trauma.
And so this is what could have happened. If you would have got the paternity test in the beginning and would have found out that you weren't the father, you could have said, listen, I'm still want to be in his life or her life. I still want to be in her life.
I could have made a choice. Yeah.
They saying her mother was wrong. Shout out to Mom Loretta. She said her mother was wrong. But you were wrong for self. Self has to self-identify, hey, am I being too emotional? Am I thinking with my emotional mind and I'm not thinking with my logical mind?
Yeah, and I did that.
Right, emotional intelligence. Instead of putting yourself, like Art Collins said, in certain positions where you do have to go through travail, just take the small time to prevent that.
But see,
and that's self-care.
So to his defense, I will say this. you know, they were in a relationship for almost 4 years before she went back to the other individual. Now, during that time, you know, he did speak on that. She spoke on how, you know, she constantly put it in their minds that, oh, she looks like you, and you know, and it seemed like she wanted him to be the father just as much as, you know what I mean, because of stability.
But you saw that as game, right?
It was game.
Like
she ran game.
Let me run some numbers for y'all.
Right.
She ran game.
Rent right now for a single mom. Child care. Okay, child care is like rent. So for a baby, there's so many things that come into play here on why her mind did that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it right? No. But we also have to make sure that we don't put ourselves in those vulnerable positions, because we're enabling her too. We're enabling her to treat us like that.
Yeah.
And we're not taking responsibility to our brethren and say, no, you're not going to treat. I'm not going to learn that lesson from you. You're not going to put me through a path journey, you know. And guess what? It took me, being at the age I am now, 36, really, really, really to grasp that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, that's how I feel like right now. Like I feel like it took me years just to see that, you know, like what I did. You know, if I would have got DNA in the beginning, I would have saved everybody a lot of pain not being there. You know, like I would have saved a lot of pain. You know, like because
but not even DNA.
That hurt.
Just your emotional well-being, listening to the inner self.
But see, is that a bad thing?
Mm-hmm.
It is a bad thing, but that's why you go seek counseling before.
Right. You know, and see, look, a lot of women look for good dudes.
Yes,
right?
We do.
And see, this is why I'm gonna have to.
He ain't catching it.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna have to just. So look, a lot of women look for good dudes, but then you know when they have a good dude, now there's a paternity between you and another dude, which means that during that same week, she was bumping and grinding, sharing. Hey, look, and sharing chemicals.
Excuse me.
Between two different individuals.
So,
okay.
So y'all do it. Y'all do it.
But no, listen,
I'm saying do it.
Listen. So everybody. But I'm saying that when you get a good dude though, who isn't doing it, you know what I'm saying? When you get a good dude who is willing to be there, who is willing to love on you. See, in the beginning, the dude was like, "I got kids of my own. I don't want to be around. I don't want to be a part of it." She still went back to that instead of staying.
Yes, she did.
Instead of staying with somebody who actually loved her, and actually loved her, and actually wanted to be in that child's life.
She's a heifer walk for them.
I'm gonna have to go with Ludacris.
She's a heifer walk.
I ain't gonna mention the song. That's a song that he talks about.
I know which one you talking about.
You know, I ain't gonna say it.
I ain't sing the tune. I'll do the song.
I ain't gonna say it.
One knows.
All I know, he talks about something about ladies and ozone layers, but that's all I'm gonna say. Anyway,
it's an ozone. Who has a whole lady who has an ozone online right now?
Hey, for those of you know, okay. But listen, I'm gonna say this: the woman was creeping on a good dude versus being with a dude who didn't want to be with her. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like now this dude who wanted to be with her, who put his heart, mind, and soul into this child. Now look, she waited 4 years.
Maybe he didn't have what she needed. Okay.
But maybe he did. We don't know what the situation was. Okay.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. No, I had what she needed. It was a little deeper than that.
Disciple, thank you for catching that and catching the energy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Listen. I wanted to know. I had to know.
No, it wasn't even that, yo.
Disciple said he was handling his business. That's all we gonna say. Now listen.
I was handling my business.
You got a man handling his business.
Yo. Hey Rebel, hey Rebel.
You know what?
I think it was more. There was a little bit more to it. There was more drugs at play too. You know, like she had an addiction
Oh,
to.
yeah, that's it.
Hold
on, we not gonna act like it is.
We ain't getting deep to
Let's rewind just a little bit.
on. Drugs.
Hold up.
What
Yeah.
drugs fall into this?
What's the good guy?
Nah, because I was trying to get her off of this addiction that she had or whatever, you know, and she ended up getting with him because he was the one pushing it. So he had it. He had it, you know what I mean? And so that's when she was dipping with him and everything because he had it. That was the whole reason why she was dipping off with him. Yes. Cocaine. Cocaine.
Okay, I want to know what kind of drugs.
Cocaine. Cocaine. Blow. Blow. Yes. That white girl, that sugar boogers. Nah, that was,
I don't know what
yeah. That white girl.
Oh,
A white girl. Yes. Yes. Girl. Yeah, you already.
All right, so look. All right, so now it's okay. So he was a drug dealer.
Hold on, time out. We're not gonna run over that. Merwin calls cocaine sugar boogers. Yeah, y'all never heard.
Yeah, y'all call it sugar boogers.
No, we don't call it. We don't call it that. Yo, that's old school. I was just playing around with y'all.
So let's get back to it, right?
I'm getting learned up and hurt.
Hey, so he's at the courthouse. The judge says that he is not the father. Then Pete Game. All right, so she's over there with him, right?
Right. Yeah.
So she's over there with him. So all right, so did he get tested?
Yeah, he got tested too.
And he was a father.
And he was a father.
So, all right, so
I'm getting feedback. You getting feedback? I'm getting feedback.
I'm
too.
getting feedback.
You got your phone turned all the way down, crew member? Yes.
Hello?
All right.
Hello.
Do you got a device on with volume?
Do I got a device on?
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm off with you.
All right, anyway. Because I heard it a little bit too.
Can you hear it?
I
hope our viewers
better now?
Can you hear it, crew member? No. Viewers.
Yeah,
I don't hear any feedback. Everything sounds good.
All right.
Well, anyway. All right, so then they tried to get a restraining order against you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, look. Okay, so first of all, you know,
that's some crazy stuff.
I put my heart and soul into.
They were scared.
And then after 4 years, my family is calling this child. My mama is calling this child granddaughter. My brother is calling this child niece.
No, that's not the point.
My cousins are calling this child cousin. They're picking this child up, giving her kisses and hugging them, right? And then at the end, you know, with all this love and everything you put into her, they put a restraining order and tell you that's it. You're not a part of this equation.
So we need to hear the comments, like. Y'all,
but how did that? I want to know how did that make him feel?
While he's answering that, y'all come in his chat and.
Yeah, please. I
want to hear different perspectives. I know somebody else have gone through this.
I don't know. I personally feel like, you know, it was a woman's fault from the beginning. If she wasn't creeping and dipping and sharing chemicals, did he
eat the apple?
But it was a choice though. It was a personal choice though, man. Like, cause I feel like I could have got DNA from off the break, you know, but I didn't, you know. So it was kind of my fault for not having my executive on, you know. So
but
like,
you didn't
I probably more in my heart. But at the beginning, I didn't feel like that.
This is the healed you. Hey, she's right. This is the healed
you. Felt like in the beginning.
In the beginning,
you want to wrangle her neck.
My heart was all in it in the beginning. Like at the beginning, my heart was all in it. Like I wanted her to be mine.
Now, this is another thing I want to know. Like, how did that affect you with any future relationships that you had after you dealt with that? Because with
me and my, like, say like with me and my wife now, like even like I told her, I was just like, if there's a possibility we have a child, I still want to get DNA right off the break, you know, regardless, because of just what I've been through.
So
what I've
it
been
brought
through.
trauma into your new relationship and mistrust and everything that the woman that you decided to settle down with. That's what I'm scared of. You bringing the trauma from another relationship.
You are, because
that's
so from her perspective, if like you always got to put yourself in the other person's shoes, right?
Right.
From her perspective, she would sit back and say, okay, I get that, this person messed you up and all of that. But by you marrying me and by you giving your heart to me, that means that there has to be trust there. Like, and even though the other situation made you insecure, that doesn't mean that I made you insecure, unless she is giving you reasons to feel insecure,
But I still, but I still feel like, since, she knows what I've been through, that DNA, she wouldn't mind getting the DNA, regardless. But it's not that I don't trust her, that it's not mine. It's just that, I don't want to ever go through that again, ever, even having the possibility or slight chance.
Now, look, one of the comments said it wasn't best that, that they cut him out of the child's life. I'm going to have to disagree. And the reason why I'm going to disagree, and not, because I'm going to be real, like, if I were in that situation, I would feel the same way you did. But the reason why I'm going to say it necessarily wasn't a bad, well, it was scandalous on how she did it. I mean, we can't get around that, but the reason why I'm going to say it wasn't a bad thing on how they cut you out is because, first of all, you have another man involved, right? They're in a relationship. You just found out that this was not your child after all of these years. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to have to agree that with what you said about the child being confused, because, like, if a child is my child, I personally would want sole ownership of that child. Just me, personally. Now, other people may disagree with that, but that's just me personally.
The blended families comes in all different forms.
I know people that do it, though.
Yeah.
And for some people, it works.
For some people, it works, but there has to be a commitment of the 2, 3, or 4 individuals involved, that they will necessarily have a self-respect for each other to raise beautiful children. If you don't have that, it's just chaos. And the child feeds off that energy. They either want to attack it and rebel and just act all out because the energy is all messed up between the 3 or 4 of you all, or they're going to use it to their advantage, and they're going to create manipulation and splitting between the blended family.
So it causes a lot of more pain.
And more pain. So with anything, you got to find that equally yoked minded idea. Even if it's kind of not a traditional idea, you got to be equally yoked with baby girl and say, hey, she could have said, you know what? You could be a very close friend to, your daughter. And you would have to accept that in order to be in her life or not.
You could have been, and that's hurtful, man. I ain't gonna lie. After you felt like this, that's why it's best to just totally separate, because I couldn't be a close friend to a child. I couldn't be this is Uncle Disciple, or this is I couldn't be that. Especially after you pick this child up. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of women understand how men take in children. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when your emotions get tied around a child, you know what I mean? Like,
Hold on now. Okay. Ain't no more emotions than me talking out a whole being. I gave life to that child.
So did we.
And the thing about it is, you didn't form her body, though.
We did.
The only time she's formed or he's formed is in the womb of a mother.
So guys,
we have that sacred emotional attachment.
We do too. So let's hold on real quick. Let me just. I can't let you just bash our guys like that.
But what I'm saying, you made me miss my thought.
Okay, now I'm gonna come with mine. All right, so
come back.
First of all, Y'all had the development process. Y'all went through it's a certain process it's called. Y'all went through that and the emotional ties and pushed the baby out. But first of all, y'all wouldn't even have a baby if it wasn't for us, because that child is with us before it's with you. Guess what? And if we ain't eating right, if we ain't living right, that baby ain't gonna come to you right.
Some of y'all full Henny
Well,
took a bath, ain't washed your, you know what?
Oh man.
And do whatever. They swim up there. They just as alive. They just stink. Okay? That's what all I gotta say. It's gonna happen when you come together. My whole thing is if the emotional attachment, building that relationship, that energy, right? It's not cohesive, it's not transcending, it's not harmonic.
Okay, so
the baby is going to feel that. The kids are going to feel that. And do you know, our Surgeon General here in Sacramento, our capital, our capital Surgeon General, State Surgeon General, she did a study on ACEs, and she found that those children who had inflicted trauma of just fighting and domestic abuse of their parents had correlating health problems. Everything from rashes to asthma to eczema, they will break out due to the stress level and the energy in the home.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you can have cohesion. You can have cohesion.
So Forrest Sykes, he said, y'all came from us, okay? So we birthed y'all. We not only birthed these babies. Hey, listen, the children not only started with us, but we birthed y'all too.
Buddy, can I say something? Hold on,
time
out. I know we're getting offline, but I can't even let that hang. Buddy, I need you to look up mitochondria DNA of Lucy, right? Which is our mother from Africa. Mitochondria DNA, we have the coding to reproduce without y'all. Now go look that up.
Okay, I want to see some. I
don't have to remember no red.
Hey, listen, are you with
it?
Listen, are you Sarah?
That lets me reproduce and change my X, Y to whatever I need it to be.
Okay.
Now go look that theory up, and it is theory because they duplicated it in an animal.
So first of all,
there is some deep water fish that do it, and frogs, and
you got people on here like really
that's crazy.
Now, first of all, listen. I know we just getting off a little subject, but listen, I gotta.
Y'all came from.
Hey, listen. So first of all, if you guys can do that, and all you surrogate mothers, then y'all don't need us. All these sperm clinics and stuff, then y'all don't need us. So why don't you?
Let me tell you.
Why don't
it goes back? Are you listening?
Okay, see the eyes is getting big. I see.
It goes to the sacred energy of feminine energy and masculine energy. It balances. It's a yin and
fellas,
yang.
we know the truth, okay? We gon' you know, sometimes you gotta let women say what they gonna say.
You balance,
you know what I mean?
Women.
So anyway, let's get
Are you balance?
What? You won.
You've read all of that. And
you
know it's about energy.
You win, but we all know the truth. Anyway, anyway, let's get back to this. So
Mike said, look it up, Genesis 2 and 2.
Hey, so
what
look.
My cousin Jermaine, I know she saw it.
Hey, so disciple, check this out. So so they put you out of the equation. So what happened was they put a restraining order on you not to see that child. Now you're in the courtroom. Now you mentioned something about them saying that they didn't feel like it was appropriate for you to be in the child's life because of your mental state or something like that.
They were pretty much they were scared of having, like, I guess after the whole situation over, like she thought I was gonna come down there and beat the dude up or whatever, you know, like that's not even the type of time I was on. I was just I just want to see my daughter.
You got muscles like that, disciple.
Yeah, I got muscles like that.
You think that they said that so that they would have justification to get the restraining order?
Yeah, like pretty much, man. Like when they put the restraining order against me, they didn't want to confuse her like any more than she already was, pretty much.
No, that was their
as they say.
reasoning to cover
That was
up
the
that
reason.
they didn't want you pressing the
They didn't want
issue.
me
They
in the
wanted to
picture.
go run off in the sunset.
Yeah.
And she collaborated that scheme a long
Hmm.
time ago, and something didn't occur to him when he left her and
Right.
that baby. So
Right.
he had the nerve to come back and decide he was going to deal with the whole shebang. They came up with a scheme.
They came up with a scheme, and they probably came up with it
early on to push you out.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'm gonna be real.
Wow.
I've seen this on Cheaters many times. I'm sorry, I had to bring it. Hey, have you ever seen Cheaters? See, and the
Yeah, I
reason why
seen Cheaters. That's my
because I know we went through a healing process over this. But
I know
on Cheaters, I seen an episode one time where the woman had still been. Now, let me ask you if you think that this is the situation. So she let the other dude raise the child while she was still secretly having sex with the other dude and him getting those benefits while the man was the man who thought that was his child was raising the child and giving them money to provide for the child. And then when they got caught, he said, well, it ain't your child anyway. And, you know, and the dude was like, I want all the money back. He was like, yeah, all that money you spent. He was like, all them years. He was like, you know what I mean? He said, you ain't getting that back. That went to our pocket. I was like, whoa. Wow, that was vicious. And she went on in the sunset with him. Do you think that during the process of those 4 years where you was putting all that time and energy into the child, that she was messing around with that individual?
Scheming, yeah.
Did you feel any vibes, or did you?
I definitely felt vibes at times, like when she would say that she's going out with her homegirl and they're going out to this like little party that they would go to or whatever, like at some shack or whatever. So
what type
go ahead.
What Nina Simone song she put a spell on you? I mean, you felt all these things within your body, your spirit, your soul, even that kind of aching at night, you know, that voice.
Right.
And you didn't listen. Walk me through that.
She was bad, right? She was bad.
Was she?
Nah, man, she was alright. She was alright.
Please,
right. Is that the you now saying that? Is that you right now? The you
what
presently
does she do to you? Sometimes some of these men, their heads are held by women,
right,
who do stuff that other women don't do.
We ain't gonna go into that.
So I'm saying,
right.
what did she do for you or to you, or felt like you were just the man? Just to ignore everything, though, disciples.
Yeah.
Tell me, run the game. I need to know because I need to take some notes. Somebody give me a pen.
Right. Yeah, man. Go sit down, bro. All right, but pretty much, man, it was crazy. Like I felt that I was pretty much in a situation where as though it didn't have to go the way it went, you know, and it didn't have to go that long, you know. But when she would go out to like these parties or whatever, that's when she would be like with the guy or whatever, you know. She would tell me she would go out with her famous homegirl or whatever like that, using her like as just like a post or whatever. But that wasn't really the case, you know. But at the end of the relationship, after everything was over, you know, like everything came out, you know, everything came out. She even told me, we sat down, we spoke one last time, and she was just like, yeah, usually at times when you thought that I wasn't doing anything, that's when I was, you know, and when I wasn't doing anything, yeah. So she was just like, you know what I mean? She put it all on the table. She was just like, I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. You know, Michaela's not yours, as we see. You know, she was like, I used you for the child. You know, she's not yours. You know, she's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do.
So real quick, all right, what caused the breakup? Like, what was the...
What caused the breakup? I ended up getting locked up for like, I went down for like a year and a half. And when I got locked up, I came home. Me and her was already but me and her was already going through situations at the time. And the breakup, pretty much what caused the breakup was drugs. You know, like her addiction to drugs, you know, and I felt that, you know, she used me a little bit. You know. But that's what
the cocaine. That's amazing. Wanting to just I don't know.
Now let me ask you this: during the relationship with her, did you step out on her at any time?
Say it again.
I said during the relationship. I mean, if you're willing to.
Yeah, I did. I did because I knew she was. So it was like I already knew what was going on.
I appreciate the honesty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: was it that you knew she was stepping out, or was it that it was just something you wanted to do, and she found out, and that was a part of the reason that what I mean? She was as cold as she was, because she was kind of cold with what she did.
Yeah, she was cold with it. She was definitely cold with it.
The essence of a woman, we're always going to try to find the best stability, and we're going to do whatever we need to because it's innate in us. So some women's values are not as high as the next woman's. Some have mediocre values. Some have values that can be swayed. So depending on who she was in her walk, in her development, she made the call to be patient, play the role, handle her business, whether she got her money up. Was you paying for everything?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. There we
you
go.
let her get her money up.
Yeah.
And she presented something to the dude.
I mean, she had a little bit of money, but I mean, pretty much the majority of everything, baby clothes, all that stuff, like we was covering all that. Like, I was taking care of all that.
That's what I'm saying. She was stacking her money to make her move.
Yeah.
This is like more of a Maury Povich Springer type.
Yo, this is chess.
Yeah, it was, bro.
It was a real Queen's game, because you let her move all over the board.
I did.
Without no recourse to who and respectability to self and my boundaries. Like your boundaries was like way bending everywhere.
I'm
That's amazing to me.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, like and we all can say this because we're not in those shoes. I mean, but I can say, like, if it were me in a situation where it was like, you could be the baby father or you couldn't be. First thing in my mind, first thing that I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. So you done stepped out on me, relationship over. Okay, that's first thing, right? Second thing.
Where did that come from? Break that down for a minute. I don't want you to go around that. Does that come from self-integrity? Does that come from self-awareness? What does that come from?
Well, any woman that has a baby on me, and I put my feelings and emotions in you, and you didn't have the common courtesy to even wear a condom, and you allowed this person to mix chemicals with you, I don't need you. Period.
So that's
period. So in the beginning,
self-respect and self.
So in the beginning, in my mind, I would have been like, okay, this is the first thing that's going to take place. Relationship over. You know what I mean? Maybe I could have forgave if there was no mixed match in there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But then again, if there was no mixed match, that the whole both baby father situation would have happened.
Yeah. And so we often compromise our values for the thing that we think we want. Again, the ideal family unit. You
can want something so bad
and be blinded
that it destroys you.
Love is blind.
But a lot of women are like that too, though.
It take over your mind. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate and find.
I don't even know that I hate you. Because all I know that my girl used to date
you.
Don't
you know all that.
So
he was the business.
So we see this all the time. I mean, like I know an individual that was in a similar situation to you, but their situation, they were tricked from the beginning. They were in a relationship, and they were in a relationship with this person, loved on this person. This person made them believe that they were the father the whole time, didn't tell them that there was anybody else, didn't tell them that there was a possibility. They made the person believe. It was some real Maury Povich type stuff.
If I was a man, all of us would be going to church, because guess what? It'd either be a wedding or a funeral. Either way, we dressed. And the church says, amen.
Amen.
You know, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where, because you made the mistake of being what Ludacris said, I'll go back to him, being what Ludacris said.
I'm
you know,
still on boats and hoes, so I can't even get past that.
So being what Ludacris said, I'm gonna let you destroy yourself. I can't destroy me with you. So if you want to, if that's what you want to do, keep the legs open, past midnight or however you want to do it. Oh, go ahead. I just can't follow.
And that's for all of you long johns too.
It goes both ways.
Johnny Appleseeds. It goes both ways.
But I'm gonna tell you, there are more women to me these days that that compromise, I believe, than there are men these days.
Yeah.
It used to be the other way around.
You're so
you got a lot of sneaky women. Like women have.
Hold on.
Women, if they can get away with it, they will do it. Trust me. Hold on.
I'm LGBT positive, right? Because I'm an ally for them. I have to be. I'm a social worker. But a lot of our straight men, our LGBT guys, know that our straight men will go act like he's super straight, have kids and all of that at home, and go have. Talk about that. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in a trauma-informed way because we ain't gonna bash nobody. But I'm saying this is reality. It goes both ways.
But it goes for women too.
A man, I know a man who had a whole family across the way from the next family. They didn't meet each other's brothers and sisters.
So he was going between both households?
Yes, and he had two wives. And
did they know about each other?
I'm telling you in a minute.
How did he do
all
that?
of the kids, they were both Latino women. All of the kids were the same ages. So when he had one baby,
take care of him?
When he had one baby, he had one baby with the other one, and then he would have that baby with that mama, and then have it and go back and forth to houses. Okay, he did that until about when his oldest was a teenager.
How did the first?
And he kept it apart. I'm telling you. Men, they'll just come and present themselves like do. You know why? Because they're not emotional beings like that.
Let me ask you this.
Very logical.
Let me ask you this. Who do you think and Disciple, I want you to chime in on this after I'm gonna say. All right, so who do you think gets hurt more when there's cheating involved? The man or the woman?
The woman. Oh my God!
Hold up. You said who gets hurt more?
So
repeat that question.
Who gets hurt more in a relationship, a man
or a woman?
Agree with
me on here?
The man.
We'll tear your whole car apart.
Now,
listen, Beyonce made a whole lemonade.
Stick to the question though, right?
Video.
Why would you
guys? Heart being torn apart.
Why do you think you guys would be hurt more than us?
And
I'm going to give you our perspective.
Our emotional part of our brain is in overload. We have hormones at rates that you do not have. It's a proven fact.
That is true.
And so we are quick to jump to, okay, he didn't know who he was dealing with, so now I got to show him who he was dealing with. I gotta kill you.
Okay.
So, right? Because you like, I found this condom. Or, I found these messages. And all that just goes straight to your head, and you be like.
But how does it make you feel? What, like?
We feel overheated. It's like heat. First, you go through all the motions.
Why? Is it because he was
a Decepticon? Oh, he was a Decepticon.
All right,
Decepticon. He deceived you. He say he loved you. You did everything because we do that. Art Collins. We'll lose weight. We'll eat those freaking salads. I hate the salads. We'll eat the salads. We'll exercise. We should be doing that for ourselves, I know, but we will do everything to try to keep him. And then to come to find out he had a whole other side piece and she knew about you. That is so hurtful. So yeah, we get super emotional. We be like, I gotta kill his Camaro or I gotta punch his tires in. Y'all more methodical. Y'all bring it back low. Y'all think about it for a minute. And y'all be like, okay, well, I'm going to get her, but she ain't going to know when I'm going to get her. Y'all logical with it. We're just in the moment emotional.
So now I'm going to say from a man's perspective, I feel like we get hurt the most, right? And I feel that way. I'm gonna tell you guys real facts on why it hurts a man more than it hurts a woman. First of all, a woman and look, hopefully there's no children on here because I'm about to.
Yeah, so we don't
Pete,
have
Go
our
ahead,
little
bro.
blinky.
We don't have our blinky thing on, but I just want, you know, if you got children on here, X them out the room because I'm about to get real deep on this, right? So I believe that men get hurt more. First of all, a woman is the weaker vessel, and I don't mean in the sense of she's weak in the sense of
help me.
I don't mean weak in the sense of, you know, providing or whatever she's doing in that sense. I mean in a sexual sense, right? In a sexual sense, a woman is the more submissive party. If you got a real man, if you're dealing with a real man, the woman is going to be the more submissive party. Now, if the woman cheats, right, in the man's mind, he's thinking like, wow, she was submissive to this dude. She, you know, if he said flip or that, she did exactly what he told her to do.
Listen,
now, hold on, wait, I gotta keep it on. Hey, listen, disciple.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. That's facts.
Please chime in if you think I'm saying anything
That's
outside of
facts.
From a dude's perspective, we're thinking, from a dude's perspective, we're thinking of everything, the control that this dude had. How he was able to manipulate you, how he was able to, you know what I'm saying, how you did what he told you to do. We're the more dominant. Now, if he's a weak dude, if he's like one of them LGBT 50-50 dudes that you talking about, you know, I mean, that's a whole nother situation. I'm talking about a real dude that submissive to a woman that cheated on her dude. In his mind, he's thinking like, wow, she did that. He made her do that. He made her do that.
What did he make her do?
Like, what'd you do? And then in their mind, they're like, dang.
Okay,
she was submissive to this dude and this. So that hurts. That right there.
Yeah, it hurts the man, yo. I feel you on that, bro.
Like. So there was a comment about. Hold on, real quick. There was a comment about men being more territorial. It is so true. Listen.
Yeah, we are territorial.
Y'all don't even understand.
I get all of that. It goes back to the values of today's women. It is not 1950 anymore, you guys. We're woke. So we have rights. And the rights is, if we want to go have other relationships, just like y'all have in y'all past, cheating on people, right? What makes y'all think or feel you can control her? Can you control a whole being?
No, you can't control the person.
Listen, we're not talking about that. We're talking about sexual submission. That's what we're talking about. You're missing the point. We are talking about sexual submission, and you ain't really had it like you should have it if you ain't been sexually submissive to no man. I'm sorry, like you know.
Submissive to a man, you're gonna get in trouble with a bunch of women on here.
Hey, I'm 100.
We own our own sexuality.
Y'all, you're missing what I'm saying. You really
reframe it because you
listen. Disciple chime in because they
yo, I got you, bro. Like I feel like I'm feeling definitely what he's saying, man. What R's saying on that, because like when you're submissive, like being submissive to somebody, for a man, if that happens to him, you know, like he's totally crushed, because you're like, okay, so were you the same way you were with me, with him, or like did you even moan the same, or you know, like was it the same type of pattern that y'all did? Like what was different? You know what I mean? Like, so you get caught in a situation in your head thinking like, okay, what did she do with him that she doesn't do with me, or is it anything different?
Yeah,
you know.
Now let me ask you this.
Okay,
you get what I'm saying?
Hold on, real quick. I know you're going into questions because that's going to. Hold on, let me just say one more thing. She'll give me the look, right? So look, all right, real quick. So what woman? Like, look, most women, and we talking sexually, y'all. Most women are not gonna tell you, "Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to flip it like that."
That's where I was getting at.
Hold on. Most women sexually ain't gonna tell you, "Hey, I want you to do this," or "I want you to do it like that." I want you. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do that. Like maybe they might give requests on what they feel, but the man is more dominant in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So in our mind, when you cheat, That's what we're thinking about, how that man was that. We're not saying that you guys are weak or that you guys are you
just
like
said that.
like
Right.
Forrest said. He said you guys are very methodical. You guys have destroyed kingdoms in the past.
Can I say something?
Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Say something?
Mm-hmm.
Did Helen build the Trojan horse? No. It was some men. It was some men to get into Troy. All I'm saying is
you guys are missing
wars,
and
wars.
crew member is missing the point too, because I'm saying I'm not saying that she's not going to be submissive to other men.
I'm not
saying she's not going to be submissive to other men. I'm saying from a guy's perspective, all we're thinking of is how she was submissive. And whether she was or not, it doesn't matter.
I told you I appreciate that.
True. I'm telling you.
But you all live in a chained up something in your mind. I don't know if it's a prison, a dungeon. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's something.
What I'm telling you is you morphed your reality to believe that you had some type of control over woman.
It's not that.
Again.
You keep missing the point.
No.
You're missing the point. I'm not saying we got control. I'm telling you, go hop off a bridge and you're going to do it. That's not the control I'm talking about. I'm not saying that. Fellas, please chime in. And
preach, bro.
He said, y'all missing our Collins point. My fellas is feeling me because they know how. And
I get the point.
About emotional respect and emotional concentration on just you. Women have affairs all the time, just like you guys do. Y'all look at somebody that's attractive walking by. I almost got myself in trouble, so I am going to focus on what I'm going to say. My ADHD self. Anyway, ADHD doesn't matter. Anyway, I was saying, like, at the end of the day, y'all still have all of these things that y'all think about too. Women do too, but some women just act out on it. And some women really, really don't care. Y'all picture us as very warm and fuzzy on the side, but there are some piranhas out there will nibble you.
But I think you're getting outside of the point.
No, I'm not.
See, the original question.
The
question was, who gets hurt the most when someone cheats? You're speaking from a general aspect. We're not talking about that. We're talking about who is hurt and how do we think versus how do you guys think. Okay. So how do we think is in our minds whether or not that woman was submissive?
I went on to a whole nother tangent.
You did.
Hey,
I'm trying to get you back because you're somewhere else. Look, when I'm saying men, in our minds, whether or not you were submissive to that man or whether you weren't, it doesn't matter. We are thinking like, wow, my woman was submissive to this dude. What's going on in our mind?
You know what it was? I got triggered by submissive. And I heard submissive. And I was like, yeah, weak and submissive. You know, women have weaker vessels. I got triggered.
See, this is why I tried to, I said you guys.
I got to tweak it like.
No, I'm not saying you guys are weaker. And women you guys are actually stronger than us. Any woman that can have a baby for 9 months, push it out, father leave, y'all raise the children with hardly nothing. Look, my mom, she would go on the cover and it would be nothing in there and she would make a big old Thanksgiving meal. To this day, I don't know how she did it. So I am not saying we are the weak ones in a lot of aspects.
You know, people say that subject.
Women are definitely strong.
Some people were saying we got PTSD around here, y'all. It's 4th of July. They popping firecrackers off. That's why me and our Collins, we try to figure out we have to be fun and funny monies. But no, y'all saying we were off subject, and that just brings me to my point too. Like in a relationship, you can be talking the same language, but not really understanding each other. And our Killings was just exactly saying exactly what I was feeling in my head, but just how a dude would react. And I didn't catch that at first. I heard submissive and was triggered. But weak. I was triggered like, I didn't want to hear anything
else. Is how when like a woman let's use a woman since that's what we're speaking of. So a woman, she comes.
But see, you got people like Forrest talking about submission and strength.
Hey,
you know what, Forrest?
Everybody's welcome.
You're right. I know a submissive home.
So look, you know,
Got
and I
your
lost my train of
submissive
thought.
thought. I got your submissive thought.
But see, a woman comes and tells a dude she cheated, and he's asking questions, you know, in regards to, you know, what happened, and then he, you know, and he's like, oh, so you were submissive to this dude. And her, you know, we're not speaking of weaknesses or like, you know what I mean. There's we're talking sexually here. Everybody, this is why I said no kids on here. Look, sexually here, cheating,
You submitted.
cheating, sexually.
You submitted or submitted.
So who hurts more though?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
submission. I'm like,
listen, submission sexually for some women is attractive. You know what I'm saying? For some women, you know, some women don't like a weak man to just, you know, some women don't like a man not to tell them what to do sexually. Some do. I mean, but most don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But most don't. You know, some women like, listen, just tell me what you want me to do. You know, and they like that. Some don't. I'm just
like
saying.
getting whipped and everything else.
You know, you're going a little too deep now.
Some women do like that.
You know what I'm saying? But we ain't. Hey, but
disciples said, "Who like that? Who like nobody don't like that."
Like the Lord said, hurt can go both ways, and it's true in all fairness. Because guess what?
Right.
You know, when a woman gets hurt, she put all that time, affection. I'm just saying we get hurt in different ways. Like our hurt is different from you guys' hurt. How you look at it, like, you know what I'm saying? We get hurt, and we're thinking like, "Oh,
Can
this
I
man."
say something too? You have women like me.
Speak on it. I want to know.
Speak on that. Speak on that. Speak on that.
I have been hurt so many times. I am the cynic, and you don't ever want to run into a cynic who's pretty.
What does that mean? What does that mean, cynic?
We all want to know.
A cynic is just like, she'll play with you just because.
Right.
Because she don't really necessarily believe in that whole family unit can be all the time. I've run into that, and that's something I have to go through, right? I have to actually take myself into perspective and say, am I willing to get back into a committed relationship and be submissive? No. Trust that man that he will keep me, he'll be kind.
You said it, not me. We were just talking about this.
He won't cheat. You know, but I'm like, well, fine. Where is he? That's where I'm at. I'm like, where is he? Show me.
Where are you going to find this man? See, let me give y'all women some tips, right? And you know, and we're not taking away from your story, disciple, because you know your disciple.
This is how dialogue goes. So
yeah, and it's all tied in. But
good.
But some women wait around all day for a man to come and find them. Well, let me explain something to you guys, right? Like, first of all, men, we're hunters, okay? You know, a hunter will not find you unless you put yourself in his path. Now, you like lions. Lions, you know, unless the prey.
He that findeth the wife findeth a good thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, he. It didn't say she.
I know. Some of y'all got y'all safari jackets on. Some of y'all got y'all safari jackets on, you know, trying to find that man. You know what I'm saying?
Instead what you mean safari jacket? I'm not understanding.
Well, you know,
like going hunting.
You know, when you got the safari jacket on, you hunt.
I don't
some
have
women
a
hunt.
Safari jacket on.
But some women hunt.
I got a camouflage.
Some women hunt instead of putting themselves in a position to win. Now, like a gazelle will put themselves in a situation not purposely, but you know, they'll put themselves in a situation to get you. You know what I'm saying? Now,
wait, hold on, time out. And why? Wait, hold on. You ain't gonna bring that game. That's that game, you guys. I told y'all about the game. That's how we just came out.
I'm just being real.
It sounds like something from Pimpology 101. I said that before in a segment. No, you won't slow that down.
So look,
you said a gazelle. How does a gazelle get himself in the middle of the killing lane?
Now look,
explain that to me.
It's all metaphorical. All right. So look, a woman. You know, you said where they at. See, a lot of women, they wait around in the wrong places looking for the right man, right? Now, First of all,
Wait around in the wrong places.
Yeah.
You guys, it sounds like a scary
How many times have you
movie.
been to the
Chapter
club?
out of my life.
How many times you been to the club
Right.
last
A
year?
lot.
Okay,
No,
wrong place.
not in the
All
last-
right.
No,
Perfect
not
example. Anyway.
last year. I'm talking about in general when I'm dating.
Mhm.
When a young lady is dating, we're in college, whatever. No, I don't have time for that. But in college and we're dating and we're doing like, yes, we found ourselves in predicaments.
So in the clubs and certain places, those are places where men are looking for a quick fix, and they'll tell you whatever.
You need
Just
to stop. So is church.
Listen, I'm just
so
telling
is
you.
church. Hold on.
Church too. I mean, you got some
There's
church people.
predators in church.
There are predators in church.
And they come to church and they look at the good sister
But-
with the long skirts and her jean skirt.
You are
is
more
fitting
likely to
just
get a good
right.
man in the church than you are at the club.
I don't know about that.
Or you going, go meet with some single doctors or some, something
I
like
don't
that.
get what you're saying.
There's a lot I'm saying right now.
Single doctors.
I'm just saying.
Single doctors. You weren't no
Hey.
doctor when Netta met you.
Man, I was a doctor. I was a doctor. Hold on,
See?
y'all.
My sister would have missed out on her blessing if she went looking for a doctor. He's not understanding.
Yeah.
This logic is not. I'm not understanding this logic.
First
I
of
need
all,
to hear from this.
first
I
of
need
all,
to hear.
I have potential. Okay. See,
But she didn't know that. You weren't a doctor. You just said she had to go hunting for a doctor or get herself. She was a gazelle.
I'm not.
That
See,
was
you
a
missing the
gazelle.
point. I'm
She
saying.
put herself
I'm
in
saying.
real bad.
But you missing the point. I'm saying, like, first of all, I'm a jewel. First off, I'm a boss. I'm a jewel. I'm a whatever you want to call me, right? She listen, see, let me tell you what she
About to
recognized,
break it
right?
on down, okay.
What she recognized is I came home, I had nothing. I was walking, she was giving me rides to work, all of that. She recognized my potential, like kinetic energy. Kinetic energy and potential energy is two different sides of it.
Which logic?
See, now let me finish.
Which logic? Because you're going somewhere else, and I get
No,
all
no,
that.
I'm
I
going-
was just talking about that energy.
I'm schooling.
So they
I'm
get
going
that.
straight to your point.
I'm saying you said on the other hand, all of us that's not Netta had to find a doctor, and everybody
I'm not
else that
saying that.
wasn't Netta.
I'm not saying
that
that.
was your logic just now.
No, it wasn't my logic. I'm saying, like, don't go to the strip club looking for a dude. Don't go to the club looking for a dude. Don't go to house parties looking for dudes. Don't do it, like, because a lot of these dudes, they're there to have fun most of the time. You may. I'm not saying you may not, but most of the time you are in the wrong place. You know what I mean? You don't go looking for diamonds, you know what I mean, in the trash. You just don't do it. You know what I mean? They go into the mines.
My diamonds is in the trash.
You know?
I didn't.
So-
I don't know how many. But I get what you're saying, and Muhammad Ali left some very wisdom words to his daughters. He said, "Daughters, the most richest things in the earth are way down in the earth. A diamond, gold, platinum. They're way down in the earth because they're value, and it takes so much to get to them. So much pressure, so much time, so much heat, to actually get where they need to be." And he said, "Daughters, you are all those things."
You just have to, and Forrest, he kind of messed up my metaphor because he was like, well, lions are the lioness
that part,
are the ones that do the hunting.
I love it.
But y'all know what I'm saying. So listen. So all I'm saying is put yourself in the right places to be found by the right people.
Okay.
Go to a convention where you got successful businessmen.
It
I'm
goes
saying,
down at the convention.
you know what I mean? Like,
it goes down
yeah,
at the convention.
I'm just saying, like,
It goes down.
but don't.
No, give us another place because the convention.
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, do your research. Do your research.
No, we need to know. We need to hear from a married man.
Well, okay.
Hold on, let me finish. Who's attractive, but he stayed married to his wife. How do you dust and dodge places you ain't supposed to go? Hello, somebody.
Well, listen, first of all, I'll tell you this.
Huh.
All right. So sometimes I think women expect potential to look a certain way.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then they miss out on the opportunity.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like for example, you may have a dude who fits the criteria, you know what I mean, that you're looking for, but he doesn't have the assets that you think that he should have at the time. But with talking to this man and seeing where his mind is, you see he's a hard worker. You see that he's a grinder, you know that, eventually this dude is going to rise to the top. Okay. So in your mind, sometimes you got to go with your gut. You got to go with your heart, with what you feel about a person sometimes. You know what I mean? Some women are very, it's a word I'm looking for, but it'll come to me in a second. But it's where you're looking at a man with what he has as if, you know what I mean? Superficial. A lot of women, some women are superficial. If the man don't, some women, listen, let me tell you, some women will lower their standards and be with a dude who they do not like at all, but because he got the money and he got the bread and he can take care of them,
what did I say?
She will lower her standards to be with that person.
What did I say? I said every genetic innate capability of want for a woman in her ecosystem, in her social ecosystem, in her financial ecosystem, in her health, in her well-being is what? What did I say it was?
Stability.
Stability.
It's stability.
Well, be with a doughboy. Your girl Rebel Ray dated doughboys because
wrong decision.
Wrong decision. That's the vulnerable part.
Doughboys have bad endings.
Because they had the money, they were ambitious. I saw the potential. I made all these things in my head, like, okay, they got this, they got that, and I don't gotta buy nothing. So run me that lobster tail in New York State. I came from that, so I wanted to be with somebody like that, and I like that they had swag. So it's kind of like the same thing with women who do all this plastic surgery to their bodies. They compromise their self-image and what they look like to get, whatever guy who likes that. Because there's
some women are turned on by bad boys. They will pass up on that good man and go with that thug dude because they like. Some women like
you to be a good man because you white collar and you got a clean cut and you drive a Maserati and you work in the corporate world. That's a lawyer. We're not talking a good guy either.
We're not saying that. We said, but we know that the dude is selling crack. You know that there's a potential that if you put your heart and soul into this dude, that there's a potential either he can get jacked and get killed, or he can get locked up for a very long time and leave you with the child, then you by yourself. We ain't thinking that far. All we're thinking of is, for the moment and what's going on at the time. You see what I'm saying? But if you settle down with that hardworking dude who is willing to grind, be there for you, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to work every day and he has ideas of how to grow and his ideas are sound to you and you guys mesh, maybe that might be somebody who may be a potential. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like, look, if the man is my age and he's broke, I mean, that may not be the person for you because, by now at this point, if he hasn't had some sort of hardship or something going on in his life, right now he should be stable in some way, shape, or fashion. So I'm not saying just go get a broke dude. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying look at the potential, look at what he's capable of. Don't go get no dude who talk about he likes shooting people or he out there gang banging. Like them dudes don't last. Oh, and then you gonna get hurt.
Forrest is really just riding the train. He is riding the art college train.
Hey, you
talk about don't get no Boaz, get a
he said don't get no
he
said get a Boaz, get it not don't get a bozo.
So I said
you feel me?
So Forrest, man.
Them bozos is gonna hurt you in the end.
I can't.
Now imagine if my wife. Imagine if I didn't learn my lesson. Look, I was the frog king, y'all. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. I can tell you right now.
No more, Lord. No more, Lord.
I gotta keep it 100.
No more.
I was like the king of fraud, and this is what caused me to get incarcerated. I made over $1 million in the span of like 10 months. Right now, look, I'm gonna tell you. At my age, I was 19. You know what I mean? Making that much money, and nobody my age during that time was making more money than I was making.
But he tells the story too.
But listen,
that's how you know his ego with being a fraudster.
No. But I'm just speaking facts, right? I'm just speaking facts. Okay, I got paperwork. So now look,
not receipts.
Now imagine if Netta would have got me then when I was all caught up in that situation. That would have been shame. That it would have been.
It would have been Rebel Red.
It would have been a bad situation for her because I was
light.
caught up in that life. You know what I'm saying? And I was out there making money, but she got me when I was ready to settle down. When I was not into that no more. When I was like done with that.
Broken.
You know what I'm saying? So if you are gonna get a dude who has been a part of that life, don't get him while he's in that life. Get him while he's in his growth period.
But you came to a tower moment and you were willing to be broke by God, right? Sometimes you gotta break it on down, break the ego down and all that. That's development, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like you still ain't told us what places we supposed to stay out of and where we can go, because I'm telling you,
y'all, don't go to the clubs.
There are predators everywhere.
Don't go to the clubs. All dudes at the clubs and I'm telling you, 99.999% of the dudes that go to the club dancing with chicks is looking for a quick fix. They trying to find them something that they can, sleep around with, and that's just being 100.
My girlfriends are considering the poly life, and a lot of the guys that they're dating and doing all that stuff, I just kind of
break it down the poly life for some of our viewers that don't understand what the poly life is.
So there's
the dualism of that.
Yes, there's a
new wave of.
I'm gonna say it's not new, but it came back. It's a re-wave. I forget what they call it, renaissance of poly life. And poly being in a multiple relationship with multiple women at the same time. I have sophisticated, educated, have money, 6-figure friends who really consider that, and they're at that point in their life because it is so bad out here.
Okay, so let's break. So she didn't break it down. I'm gonna break it down. Okay, all right.
And so it's when the man says, I will date you. You will come into our home. You will be a second wife, and you will hold responsibilities like all the other wives or wife. There may be one main woman, right? But most of the time, he gets to sleep with them in intervals. They may live in multiple homes, or they may live in the same family unit. And they actually come together and cohesively, in harmony, share the same,
and they start building
and be okay and build. And guess what? Rebel Ray's not okay with that.
You know what?
I would never be able to do the poly life.
That's a segment we need to.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna talk about cheaters.
I know some polys.
That's a segment we're gonna talk about.
We're gonna talk about. I know some women who are willing to be polys.
So we're gonna talk about that because that's very important. Disciple is not on, but just kind of going back to real quick the whole topic of all of this. He was in a relationship for 4 years, and he put his heart soul into a child that he believed to be his, but the girlfriend at the time did tell him that there was a possibility that he was not the father. There was somebody else as well. He found out that he was not the father in the end, and it destroyed his life to the point where he needed counseling and he needed help in that situation. And this is, and I'm going to let Rebel Ray chime in on this because she has the education to chime in on this. But I'll give you guys a little point of view from my perspective. Then we're going to end this. But fellas, get the paternity test right away. All right, don't go for years and years putting your heart and soul into it. Even though I'm not saying that you shouldn't put your heart and soul into a child, but just don't do it. Get the paternity test, find out right away, so you can, just for your sake of peace, so that you're not heartbroken in the end, so that you're not in the end messed up, so that you can make a decision in the beginning with that person to understand whether or not you're going to be in that person's life, in that child's life, and so that you're not hurting him. So that's just my advice to you fellas.
And Rebel Ray is gonna put it like this: as the oldest wives' tale, messy auntie with the T, she would tell you, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it is
It's a dub. It's quacking.
So don't even get to the paternity test.
It's quacking.
She show you, take receipts, gain her facts. Don't go down that road because you might run into a real one. See y'all later.
All right.
Signing off. This was very controversial. Stay tuned. Hit the notification button. We're going to be talking about systemic racism, this race theory that's been happening all throughout the Senate, the United States. We're going to talk about it in the educational piece. So we said that about 4 weeks ago. We was going to bring that to you. We're going to gather that up. So tune in next week. That's what we'll be doing.
Maybe or maybe not. We'll see. All right. So look, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always showing love. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please hit that little bell.
All right.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.